Hello, friends. This is Joe Whitchurch with Free and in 3. I thought I'd try something a little bit different today and talk to you about a little bit of a thought experiment that's more grounded in how should we say, a narrative ontological argument. Don't let that word ontological throw you off. So here's the thought experiment. We know that people universally, every culture, has a concept of God or gods. And typically, their gods are put up higher than themselves. They have invisibility, they have various powers. In Greek mythology, they fought with each other and they were great beings. But let's ask ourselves the question as if we were having a conversation. Let's imagine that this God concept that's within us is rooted in something real. That people are actually looking for a higher being. They're actually looking for a perfect being. So if we could say we're looking for a perfect being in this little imaginary dialogue we're having here, would a perfect being be limited to materiality? Even the superheroes in the Marvel comic books don't seem to have those kinds of limitations. We'd say no, a perfect being would not be limited to materiality. Would a perfect being be limited spatially? Only be at one place at one time? Well, this is a tricky thing, but I would have to say if a being was perfect, we wouldn't want them to be limited in where they could be. What about limited in time? Could they do time travel? I mean, lots of sci-fi talks about time travel. A perfect being would not be limited by time. So right away here, we're not talking about the perfect bunny or the perfect donkey or something. We're talking about a different kind of being that's perfect, not limited by materiality, spatial confines of time. Would it be the perfect being? Would it just be a fictional being or a real being? I think we was going to say if it's going to be perfect, it's got to at least have um, it's non-fictional. Okay. What about perfect goodness or just a measure of goodness, but kind of bad part time? Now, perfect beings got to have perfect goodness. What about intelligence? Partial intelligence, just knowing a little more than me or a little more than somebody else or a little more than I. No, perfect being has got to have perfect, full intelligence. What about limited power or a lot of power or all power? Perfect being's got to have all power. Is a perfect being dependent? Is a perfect being real or non-real? Well, if it's going to be a perfect being, it's got to be real. It can't be non-real, and it can't be dependent or contingent. So here's the question. Is a perfect being necessary or contingent? Seems to me like if it's going to be a perfect being, it's got to be a necessary being. And that, my friends, I think is the gist of the ontological argument, that we all have a God concept. We put our gods higher. We are looking for perfection and perfect being because perfect being exists. And the God who is the God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He is real nonfiction. He is necessary. He's outside of time, and yet he is imminent as your next breath. This is sometimes called the ontological argument, but I'm putting it in conversation form for free and three. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.